everybody, Frankie here from Vibrant Center for Voice and Movement. And today I want to combine a little bit of geekery, a little bit of science with some practical things that you can build into your practice. One of the underpinnings for my approach to actor training is about working from the outside in. That understanding that we can change what's happening inside, we can change our emotions, we can affect how we're expressing those emotions vocally and physically by working from the outside in. And there's a scientific basis for this. Some of you know that my background is as an occupational therapist, and I specialized in neuro, mental health, chronic pain, and occupational justice. And one of the things that I started to realize when I was working with children with cerebral palsy was the relationship between positions and ways of moving the body, and of course circulation, the way that nerve function, but also then how that would impact energy levels, a feeling of identity, a feeling of engagement. And there's actually a number of reasons for this. A lot of people, not just people with cerebral palsy or postural health issues, but a lot of people, especially now because we have a screen culture, tend to have this forward head placement. And what this does is it compresses the chest. It means that there's less breathing going on, there's less oxygen going where it needs to go, but especially into the head, because it's compressing the blood vessels that bring fresh, healthy, oxygenated blood up into the brain. But also we have 12 cranial nerves, and several of these nerves don't just live in here, but they actually link from the brain down into parts of our bodies. And you may have heard of the vagus nerve. That's one of the cranial nerves that I work with quite a lot because of what it has to do with acting in the social nervous system. But there's a couple of others as well. So I don't want to just focus on one nerve. But the idea of that if you are compressing, not only are you compressing the muscles to do with voice, not only are you hiding your face, not only are you getting less of a breath, but you're actually also compressing the nerves that are needed for the social nervous system. These are nerves that tell your body, or that actually communicate your body to your brain how your body's doing. Are you safe? Are you stressed out? What about the facial expression, right? Which are things that we need for acting, we need for them for voice, if we're singing, we need them for engagement if we're dancing, right? So these cranial nerves are so important, and they're so pivotal to mental health and also to performance, whether we are actors, singers, dancers, etc., etc., etc. So I'm going to give you a couple of exercises that you can do to build into your practice that actually will support you in your self-care as a performer, but also in your art. And so these are things you can do as part of your warm-up. You can also do these as part of a practice. The first one I'm going to show you is one of my favorite things to do first thing in the morning, because I'm kind of waking up and I'm feeling a little bit compressed, especially because I now have kittens who sleep like on my pillow and in front of me, and so suddenly I have a lot less room on the bed, less than even before. So this first one, I have a roller, but if you don't have a roller, you can also fold a towel or a blanket and have it just nice and long, have it a couple of layers. It doesn't have to be a lot, but say, can you see that? A couple of layers like that. And I want you to lie along it so that your spine is along it. And what I'm going to do is, for extra fun, I'm going to hook the base of my skull along this roller, because it's really, really yummy getting into those tight spots for me. But what this is also going to do is it's going to open the chest, and it's going to be really useful to think about your breathing while you are lying over this roller. So lying along it, which may not be a way that you're used to using it. Hooking my head underneath this roller, and I'm gonna back up a little bit. Boop, boop, boop. That's a bit better. And take a few moments. I'm gonna do a quick version, but really give yourself some time to let gravity do the work here. You don't have to do a lot, and you can have your knees bent with your feet on the floor if you'd like, or you can stretch your legs out long, whatever's comfortable. And I want you to stay here for what's comfortable. If 30 seconds is comfortable and then it starts to hurt, get off. If you can stay here a little longer, like 5 minutes, then that's perfect. But I don't want you to hit that threshold and then just like get tense as you go. She told me to stay here longer. So just working with this idea of being comfortable. And I love the sensation of rolling the base of my skull along this edge here. Oh my goodness, it's so tender. Whew, and I can feel that breath. And I invite you to bring your hands to your ribs and breathe into your ribs. Sorry, breathe into your hands. And I'm imagining my rib cage spreading around this roller. I am visualizing and sensing into my body how the muscles in my back are actually now giving into gravity a little here while my spine has support. And I'm just gently moving the head as I'm breathing into my hands. And there are lots of trigger points here at the base of the skull. Trigger points for the tongue, for example. So you're doing lots of things at once. Keep this pleasurable. If you find a little space that you want to just live in for a moment, you can just hang out there or just rock back and forth. Or you can move a little bit more widely. Just doing what feels good. And I'm going to come off in a moment. So what I'm going to do is just roll to one side because I feel stable enough to do this. If you're a little bit more frail, you might need to use a wall or to have someone else help you off of it. And then just lying on my side for a moment. And it's actually nice. I can still feel this roller against my back, and that feels really nice right now. And I can think about breathing into my ribs here. Oh, and I want to yawn. And I want to take a stretch, so occupying lots of space, kind of like a kitty, just stretching and opening this up. But I don't want to shorten my back too much because I've been opening that back now. So I'm going to lift my top leg and think about being wide in the front and wide in the back. And let that go. And now I'm going to push with my hands, let my head drop, and just push myself up into sitting. And then I'm going to bring my fingers to the back of my head. Oh, that feels good. And lift my head into those fingers. Nice. So that's the first thing that you can do for yourself, to open the chest. And it may feel, if you sit at the computer a lot, for example, this might feel like a really big shift. Really great to do before bed if you've been sitting all day. So that's the first. Boop. The next you can do in standing. Because I have the camera set up, I'm going to do this just kneeling. But it seems so simple, but this is actually like magic. I want you just to gently turn your head And then let your upper body follow. Don't push, right? Just let this be gentle. And notice what your eyes see. And breathe. And turn back. Turn, turn, turn. Look the other way. And breathe. Turn back. Keep turning. Turn, turn, turn. Notice what your eyes like to see and breathe. Turn, turn, turn. Look behind you. Notice something new. And now I want you to bring up the speed on this. So again, if standing's a little bit easier, but just, I'm going to trace my fingers around, and I'm going to turn, and then turn, turn, and turn. And just not think about this too much, but use my eyes and notice what I see. Keep breathing. And then I'm going to slow down, come back to center. So that's step 2 or exercise 2 is turning. This really stimulates the cranial nerves that come out of the head and into the body. And actually turning the head is one of the most complex moves because it requires certain muscles in the neck to release as other muscles shorten. Along that, just bring your fingers to the tops of your shoulders and give a squeeze, give a little massage. Ooh. And if you have a friend or a partner, you can also ask for them to give you a massage. And as I'm palpating, and I'm now bending my knuckle in, so I'm bending the thumb in the front here, and then I'm just squeezing with the fingers, like I'm kneading. The theme is cats today, so it's like I'm kneading a blanket, gently. So there is the link between having an unequal degree of tension here, or something unbalanced here, so the ears aren't in alignment, and difficulty with the social nervous system, because of course the way that it affects the cranial nerves. So you can also bring one finger, feels so good, and just gently give a little massage up and down, stroking the fibers of this muscle. And then go to the other side, gently stroking the fibers of, yes. And then this one, I got to do this a lot in a rehab center during a prac for OT. So shrug that shoulder up, pinch that muscle. So you'll kind of notice that it pops up. So I want you to actually pinch it. Now drop the shoulder and feel how that muscle just starts to slowly slide through your pinched fingers. And then it might just pop at the end. So it kind of starts to ooze and then it'll just drop. Boom. And I did it a few times, and the second time it was like less of a pop. It was more soft. And so this time I'm going to shrug up, pinch, drop. Shrug up, pinch, drop. And I'm just holding on until that muscle moves through the pinch. There we go. Lovely. So those are 3 really simple things. And then one more, I want you to link your fingers together, stretch that chest wide, and then you don't have to drop your head back too far. but just breathe in. And if it helps to stand in front of a mirror, think of the air expanding that whole rib cage. So we have ribs all the way up into the armpit, and then you can feel them down in here, right? So we have quite a lot of rib cage to expand. And I'm squeezing my shoulder blades toward each other. Nice. So that was a 4 bonus. So four things that you can do to build into your practice to actually stimulate the nerves that have to do with your ability to use your voice expressively, to use your face expressively, also to receive others, right? Because our social nervous system is also based in our ability to read faces, to hear voice tones. And when we get very stressed out, our hearing will shift and the actual muscles in the ears will function differently. We won't necessarily be able to hear that nuance in vocal tone because we're looking for shrieks and growls, which are slightly different range in hearing. And we will actually maybe then be able to hear background noise more because we're looking to hear that predator creeping out of the background. So it can be very difficult to hear conversations. I'm sure you've had that. Some of us more than others. I know I have this where I'll be trying to focus in on a conversation in a really loud room and I'll start to hear other words from other conversations, and for some reason I'm having trouble focusing on the conversation I'm in. And so similar idea, we want to be receiving our scene partner, right? We want to be receiving information and nuance. We want to be able to be clued into how they're using their face so that we're having an organic response. We're not contriving anything. So these nerves, these cranial nerves, are so important to performance. Dancing, we want to be expressive, right? We're not just doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but we're feeling it, and it's coming off of our body in waves so that the other dancers and the audience can feel it. And then of course singing, right? That all those little tiny muscles are filled with the nuance of what's happening inside of our bodies so that our audience can feel it, so that other singers, either if we're in a choir or we're singing to each other, can feel that as well. So that is a lot. Enjoy it, play around with it, use this as part of your warm-up, use this throughout the day, especially if you haven't been speaking in person very often, because of course so much of what we're doing is on screens now. Use it before bed maybe, and even notice if that shifts a little bit of how you're feeling in your body, what's happening in your mind before you go to bed. And until I see you again, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. See you later. Bye.